Like this technique saved my life. Not that I was not going to keep living, but I'm living a very different life because I feel very differently right now. People are feeling their traumas and their wounds deeper than ever. Their strategies to like manage and cope are not working anymore. It's like we are now in warp speed of healing, and people want warp speed of healing. Not the event that is the problem. It's how you feel about the event. It's like remembering when you took out a splinter of your finger out of your finger.
Right.
Like, really? Why are you going to remember taking a splinter out of your finger? Because it didn't belong in there anyways. It was causing you some serious problems and has your whole life. But all of a sudden you clicked on a button, you had this 15-minute session, they took out the splinter, and now you're getting on with your life. Like, without the splinter, without all the pain, without all the, like, everything hurts. Like, you can't do the dishes because it hurts. You can't drive your car because it hurts. Like, you're driving like this, Like, now you're just driving normally. You forget that you ever felt that way because it wasn't you to begin with.
Welcome to Changing the Channel with Joe Garner, a show about shifting our individual and collective beliefs on what is possible for the future of humanity. As our understanding of how our reality continues to shift, we are at a point of reunification between science and spirituality. What does the world look like when we break free from the generational trauma that has kept most humans playing small for thousands of years and step into our full power as the co-creators of this reality? I always ask that you keep an open mind with this podcast. Ask yourself what resonates with my truth at this time and what does not. Respect your intuition, but see if you can get through the whole show because there might be that little nugget buried deep in the conversation that unlocks something for you. Welcome everyone back to another wonderful episode of Changing the Channel with Joe Garner. Before the show, I was working with Stacey Nye. We were doing a abbreviated portion of the Fix Code, which is essentially, she's the co-founder of the Fix Code, and she feels as if she's one of the luckiest women on the world because she gets to kind of bring about this change into humanity, to be a part of it, to be of service to that change in humanity. So welcome to the show, Stacey. I really appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share the Fix Code. I couldn't do this without you guys, so thank you.
Of course. And yeah, like I was saying, she suggested, hey, maybe we should try to do this so that you can kind of experience it. And I was like, yeah, of course. I'm always open to new modalities and trying different things out. I got to experience it on a firsthand, but I'm very curious to see, what was your experience like that first time that you were introduced to this fixed code and, essentially gave your life to it? What was that experience like for you?
It was very spiritual, actually. I was on the heels of a trauma, like a trauma night that had happened 6 years before my meeting Daniel, who is the creator and founder of this technique. And I lived in kind of silent hell, silent terror for 6 years. I told nobody. I white knuckled the whole thing. And then the last piece of the puzzle for me, like the last little piece of my floor that I was standing on and holding everything onto, fell out from underneath me. So I was free falling in a way, and I wasn't coping anymore. I couldn't hold it together, even though I was all cracked in pieces. I was at least holding it together. This was kind of the last thing for me, and I definitely was internally falling apart, and it was starting to show on the outside. Like I was now crying. I couldn't hold it together in the grocery store. I couldn't hold it together in the car. Like I was weepy smurf big time. And my coping time was getting shorter and shorter. So this particular evening, I had only just been separated for now 45 days of a 20-year marriage. And a woman, I owned a gymnastics club for little kids. So I was actually in my office this particular night. And one of the coach's moms came in, kind of knocked on the door, and she said, "Hey, sweetie, I was sitting in the dark crying." So I was like, not okay. And she kind of knocked on the door and opened the door, and she just said, "Stacey, we're not really sure, collectively, all of us people that love you out here, we don't really know what's going on and we will never pry. But I ran into a friend of mine or a guy I went to high school with at this, transformational healing fair, trade show kind of thing last weekend. And he's doing this thing that is like incredible. And she goes, I tried it. It worked. I hope you don't mind. I made you the first appointment on Friday. He's coming up to our little town. And, she booked all of her friends, but she said, I made you the first appointment. And I was like, that's very kind. Thank you very much. And nobody knew what was going on with me. They just knew like something's going on with Stacey. So this particular morning, I was driving to this session thinking to myself, if this guy makes me drink Topi and it works, I'm drinking Topi. I'm doing it. Like I'm just doing it. But when I walked in, the most spiritual thing happened where when this woman in the middle of us was like about to introduce us, I was in such shock because my first words to this gentleman was, oh my gosh, you're real. I had seen him in my visions my whole life. He was like my elder. He was my counselor. He was my advisor. But again, thinking it was like my spirit guide or my team or my angels. And again, I was quite a spiritual kid, but I never talked about it to anybody. It's not like I walked around going, hey, I was talking to this guy today. He told me to do this, or we had a conversation about this. No, it was very private. And I also was a kid, so I didn't know any different. I just figured everybody was like that. I didn't know. So my first experience with Daniel was he was real. And when he saw me, he felt the same way. We had a conversation afterwards, as we became really, really good friends and then business partners. But he felt the same way. His words to me was like, I've been waiting for your energy signature. It was like, I've known I was meeting you. I just didn't know when or who or what you looked like or anything. He was always given an energy signature because he's more energy. I'm more visual. So I was given the visual. So we knew when we met, something had happened. But he also felt very quickly my sadness because I was super sad. And the next thing I know, I'm crying, which I promised myself I wasn't going to do, but I was crying. And he just said, hang on, come sit down. Let's sit down and I'm going to do something with you. I was like, great. So I sat down. He knew I was sad. So we didn't have a magic question like I did with you, but, and then he asked me to close my eyes and follow his instructions, which is exactly what I did with you. And when I was in this experience, I knew it was such a beautiful experience. It was such a beautiful spiritual experience. I felt like I was home. I felt like all of my memories were coming back. I felt like something had activated in me. We now call it the ancient gene. Our ancient gene was activated absolutely that day with me. And I expanded right there in that room. I just kind of like expanded and I was in the presence of excellence. This technique is created of excellence, in excellence, of excellence. And because of my background is like with the Olympic Games, and I grew up in an Olympic family. I watched my parents in service to excellence my whole life. I then became servants of excellence. So I knew what that meant. I knew what excellence looked like, felt like, sounded like, and this was it. Everything from the tonality to the frequency of it, to the spaces I was taken to, the elegance of the actual experience, So I was, to say the least, blown away. And when I came back to now, as you did, and floated back into my body and opened my eyes, now I tend not to swear. I'm not a person that walks around swearing. I'm really not. I had more swear words come out of my mouth in that 10 seconds than I ever had in my entire life, because I'm like, what just freaking happened? Like, what just happened? I was in like, whoa, that was excellent. How do we do that again? Like, how do I live there? How do I get all, and then he asked me, he said, well, can you think of anything now in your past that when you think about it, makes you feel sad? And I sat there as a quick, intelligent woman going, no.
Consciousness is the next frontier. And at joegarner.net, we're exploring that frontier. Whether that's through one-on-one coaching, pre-recorded programs, or free utilities to expand your awareness and your consciousness. Join me there and we'll expand what you believe is possible for your human experience. So learn more at joegarner.net and will expand your consciousness.
I can't feel it. I can see it, but I can't feel it. How did you do that? Like, that was pretty freaking awesome. And then, of course, my next words were, I'm going to figure out what you just did and I'm going to teach the world how to do this. And he was like, hi, I'm Daniel. Your name is what? And I'm like, we're in business. Let's go. This is happening. I just knew my heart exploded so much. And in like that universal love space of the world needs this. The world needs to know this. The world needs to feel this, because this was 15 years ago. We were not 15 years ago in the kind of chaos that we are now, like not even close, or the intensity, right? So back then, even though my life was intense, my life was like a lot to process, and to navigate with a 5-year-old, that kind of thing. Like, it just felt like it was a lot. That this is going to be such a useful tool to the world. So I've got to get, my act together. I've got to figure out what he's done and how he did it to be able to teach the world how to do this, so that we can have an army, or not an army, but like a massive tribe out there doing this work and helping as many people as we can as we move through whatever the future's got for us. And that was 15 years ago. And I knew there was chaos coming. I knew I was being prepared for something way bigger than me, which is, I'm honored that that's the case. I'm not in this for me. I'm in this to teach as many people as I can this technique, so that they can turn around and help as many people as they can in their worlds get through all of this. So my first experience was one of the most spiritual expansions, transformational moments of my life, which obviously was destined, which we also had those stories that through spiritual experiences and through divine intervention, or whatever I don't even know what to call them. But they've changed my life, because they've also told me through these experiences, which I did not seek out. They happened to me. I was told the story. I was told why I'm doing this. What's the, I was shown the history of my journey, which was pretty incredible, which allowed me to stay very true to all of this, no matter how it was going. I had to stay true to my mission. And that's why that's why I think I'm the luckiest girl in the world, because I was shown my mission. I've healed through my mission. Because of course I use this technique all the time, Daniel, I will call Daniel and say, like, this is what I'm feeling right now. And he'll do the work with me, obviously. And all of our students, when they need anything, they call me. So, and then it just kind of keeps paying it forward. So we are this big tribe of people that are out there helping people every day with this. And it's the coolest experience of my life. Like, it changed my life. In that moment with Daniel 15 years ago, when I said, I'm going to figure out what you just did and I'm going to teach the world how to do it, I've kept that promise. I've spent 15 years doing this. I healed from it, right? Like, this technique saved my life. Not that I was not going to keep living, but I'm living a very different life because I feel very differently. I've been able to forgive at the deepest levels. I've been able to move on. I've been able to let go. I've been able to heal deep, deep wounds from this lifetime, past life. And again, like, past lifetimes, they're still this lifetime. That you don't, like, they don't not follow you. They come with you. It's you. Right. Like, you are you the whole way through. So they come with you. They may not get triggered in this lifetime until later on, but they still do get triggered. And we're in the time right now on this planet where everything's getting triggered, so we can clear. So it's like all of this is on purpose to allow people like us to heal, to then be able to move into that new earth, that new frequency that we're doing. Like, that is ascension. So, and I think one of the coolest things and there was like many cool things that happened to me on this journey with, in this spiritual experience that they took me on this journey, was that they showed me, even though we called it the fixed code, it took us 5 years to give it a name. Like like this really is a grassroots kind of thing. Like we've come up from living rooms and,
Yeah.
um, baseball diamonds and, like we're very grassroots. So we didn't even have a name for it for years. And it didn't matter. Um, was that they, in this spiritual journey that they took me back on, they showed me very clearly that this was an ancient ascension tool, that my role was to acquire an ancient ascension tool for this time, 26,000 years, in the future. And that, like, I think it's like just my discipline, my gumption, my grit, my whatever it is. That I was chosen to do this and to bring it to 26,000 years. I was entrusted with this. I was entrusted that I was going to do everything I was told and go through the gauntlet of life in this lifetime, that I was going to go to that meeting with Daniel and meet Daniel, because we were supposed to meet in 2010 and we met in February, first week of February of 2010. Like, pretty much hit the mark. Like, I think that that's a pretty good hit the mark.
Yeah.
So that he could teach me this, and then we could turn it into a training and teach as many people that wanted to learn how to do this. So it's been an incredible journey. And I can't imagine my life had I not gone to that meeting 15 years ago. I couldn't imagine my life without this, and without all the people I know and all the people that I've been able to help in the moment. Like, you and I met 17 minutes
Right.
ago, and I was able to, this technique, the way that it's designed and created, we were able to do the work effortlessly, where you completed the whole transaction. It was all gone within a couple of minutes. And then we move on. Like, I may never have known your name. And there's many times I've done this work where I've never known the person's name, or I did it with a taxi driver once. They pulled over with me in the back. They pulled over. They were not okay. I didn't understand what they were saying, but I just all of a sudden said to the gentleman, like, can I help? Like, is there anything that I can do? And he said, I'm feeling this. Like, I'm afraid I'm going to lose them. And I said, okay, close your eyes. And I just did it. I just did it with the person in the taxi. And he kind of looked back at me and he says, you never have to pay for a taxi ride ever again. Just call me. Like, he couldn't feel that fear anymore. So he was able to help his wife in a calm way. But he just kind of kept looking in the rearview mirror going, who are you? And how did you land in my taxi in this moment? To me, totally on purpose. But
Yeah, I think the
I just,
simplicity of it is what I
yeah,
really enjoyed. I've done so
yeah,
many different modalities and healing practices, and 12-hour medicine journeys and stuff like that, which are,
no,
again, they all have their purpose. And I think for me, at
yeah,
least, that unlocked certain things inside of me that have allowed me
yeah,
to do what I do now. But this was
mhm,
5 minutes. It was guided by the unconscious. Again, I've been meditating for a number of years at a fairly high level. So being able to kind of tap into
mhm,
that, go into that space where you can allow the unconscious to kind of take over and not necessarily be thinking about every question and answer that you have, like actually letting your
yeah,
unconscious take the wheel. I have
yeah,
fortunately, I have some experience in, but even for somebody who has no experience in that, I mean, I feel like just the
absolutely,
simplicity of the questions, a little bit of breathing to kind of get into it, and
yeah,
boom,
yeah,
you're kind of into it. So I think the simplicity of it is super helpful, super beneficial, especially for anybody that hasn't, gotten into a deep meditative practice, that knows how to astral project, or, work with the Akashic
yeah,
records to go into their past to kind of work with these different experiences. Like, you've taken all of these different experiences and put them into one singular, simple, easy thing. And I'm curious, how often are people typically doing a fixed code session? Is this kind of like a monthly thing? Do you check in every couple of weeks? Is it, you know, whenever
it's
necessary?
interesting. Like, whenever necessary, really, because, like, if your life is good, why sit down and poke, right? Like, everything's good. The strategies you're using are working, that kind of thing. What I find is that, and a lot of our packages are kind of 30-minute packages, like they're 30-minute, you can buy 10 of them, but you're not doing it once a week. You're doing it when you need it. So some clients, 10 and a half hours is a year.
Mhm.
Some client, 10 and a half hours is a week because they're like, and the next one came up and the next one came up. And because it's layering, right? It's all layering. And it's all coming at everybody really fast right now. So I feel like even though I've had 15 years in the business and doing this, everything is speeding up really quick right now. People are feeling their traumas and their wounds deeper than ever. Their strategies to like manage and cope are not working anymore. And so I find that like people are contacting us much faster. Like the next one is up, and I encourage that. I'm like, go for it. Like there's no timeline here. If you want to gut it and go through boot camp and clear all this, like that's your choice. Some people want to take their time, but the majority right now, and that was the way it used to be, things were slower, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, started to pick up around 2020. People were starting to feel a lot more than the conflict started, the opposition started, like
Yeah.
the anger started, those kinds of things. The fear of losing people in their family, also, so a lot more started in 2020. So we've watched the practitioners, we've watched more people want to learn how to do this to help their family and friends, not even put it in their business. They just want this for their family and friends. So I find that, gentlemen like you who are already on this journey find this fun. Like it's super fun. Like it's interesting because you can see the intricacies of it. You can see the elegance of it, right? There's nothing wrong with your 12-hour sessions. I've never done them because I didn't come into this choosing and saying, I want to learn all this stuff. I came into this going, oh yeah, like whatever you just did, we're going to teach people how to do this. Like I didn't come from a spiritual background of studying other people or learning other stuff. I've had my moments in the 90s with, the Celestine prophecies, and I'm aging myself here. The Celestine prophecies and Louise Hay and like all that. Like I loved all that stuff, but I never went further with it until this. And I believe that I didn't because almost like I had to be like a Puritan. I had to come in with no idea of anything outside of like what is happening to me in this. So it was like a pure experience. I had no overlay of other information. So I think that was the reason. But I would love to try all that stuff. I just haven't, because I've been doing this. But this is more. I find that people that are on the spiritual journey want to learn how to do this, and people that aren't are the clients. They want help, and this is where the beginners, like beginners all the way to advanced, because you guys love this too. Like without question, you love this technique because it's quick, efficient, elegant,
Right.
and it's fast. So, but you can bring in your beginners with this because most of the world is beginners, right? We're moving people into this world. This is the fastest growing industry on the planet. So where people are looking now for help in different ways. They're not going to a talk therapist now once a week, right? They want something different. They're trying something different where this is different. And so our beginners are the clients. Our beginners are saying, I want to feel better. I feel stuck. I feel sad. I feel the chaos. I feel the opposition. I feel sad that this is all happening. And that's the client. So, I'm excited because they're going to grow into this. They're going to start to feel better. They're going to, where you and I on different paths in a way, but still the same point. We've been doing this work now for years and years, like decades, right?
Yeah. For me,
So I feel like this is more of like the math.
Yeah. Definitely. It's a good introductory to like a quantum meditation. It's perfect.
Yes.
The journey to finding myself started with a shift in how I viewed my health. That is why I am proud to partner with Purium, the transformation company. What if you could support your health with a system designed for today's challenges? Purium is more than a supplement company. It's a solution for regenerative health. Their whole food products include the only clinically proven glyphosate detox, helping you eliminate the toxic buildup caused by modern farming. Pair that with beyond organic superfoods and the most efficient source of protein on the planet, and you've got a powerhouse combination to build muscle, improve digestion, and fuel your energy levels, all while promoting deeper sleep. Plus, Purium is mission driven with planetary health in mind. They're proud to lead the way in a plastic free movement using biodegradable packaging as much as possible. True health freedom starts here. Experience the power of this regenerative healing system for yourself and witness your own transformation take place. You get 60 days to try it. And if you truly don't feel any benefit, you get fully refunded. I have personally been using the daily Core Four products and have noticed an increase in my energy and the depth of my sleep. Use the link in the descriptions to get started today and receive at least $50 off your first order over $75.
And it's the beginning because you get to clear all your blocks with this so that when you move into that new level of transformational healing, you're free. Where you had to go the gauntlet all the way through your spiritual transformation, where the newbies are going to get where you are really fast because they're clearing the blocks through this technique. So they're going rapid speed where you and I had to like trudge it out through the weeds.
Yeah.
Figuring it all out. Yeah. So that's exciting. It's like we are now in warp speed of healing, and people want warp speed of healing.
Yeah, and it couldn't come at a better time.
Beginning.
Like,
yeah,
it couldn't come at a better time. We
absolutely
need to be warp speed because of how fast everything is moving. And again, these changes that are coming to the planet that are tough to, I mean, you can't project out 5 years from now what the world is even going to think about, what it's going to look like. What are our daily experiences going to be? I don't think there's not going to be a massive change for a lot of people, but for many people, there's going to be some really big things that they're going to have to come to grips with, or they're going to have to deal with and understand. And as these older systems start to fall apart, the people that were in those systems that thought this is going to be, 60 years, this is how long we're going to have in this particular iteration of humanity. I mean, that's just not the case. It's very clear that it's 5 years, 2030 is kind of this big inflection point. 2027 is a big inflection point if you're into Vedic astrology or anything like that. 2027 is when they're saying there's going to be a massive shift. And again, your consciousness decides, is this shift good or bad? Or is this just a shift that happens and then you're riding the wave of the shift and enjoying how this happens? And for me, that's been the biggest one for me, knowing that there's this massive shift that's coming, that there's fundamentally how we do things is going to be so different, and not being afraid of that, not being a Luddite where it's like, we can't have change because it's going to mess everything up. It's like, well, I mean, if you really look at how things are going, maybe it's time to shake some things up, to move things around, to maybe spread a little bit more of the benefits of society out to a larger percentage of the population. These kind of things that are coming, that I think they're coming whether we agree with it or not. Like it's already in motion. The timeline has already been created, and we're just walking through it now.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like part of my spiritual experience back in 2017 that happened to me, it showed me like we started this one 26,000 years ago. We started the plan for the new earth 26,000 years ago. We saw 26,000 years ago that we were going to need help. That humanity was going to need help. And I guess I signed up for it and said, oh, what can I do? And this is how I'm helping. And you're right. I loved when you said like people are going to have a choice, which is free will. That's part of humanity. We have a free choice. That's part of our gift of being human, is that we do get to choose. My wish though is that people get to choose without feeling angry, without feeling hurt, without feeling the opposition, without feeling the chaos, without feeling betrayed, without feeling fear of change or fear of losing people or fear of being not liked or not loved or not accepted. Like all of those things will dictate what side you pick or what choice you make. And so my dream, my goal is to help as many people as I can through either by teaching this, and then, then people then turn around and go and help many, many more people, or people coming to our site and clicking the button and getting complimentary sessions, because that's the first thing you do with us is you can get a complimentary session. But then continue the healing journey, because your choice might be very different if you're not angry. Your choice might be very different if you don't feel betrayed or sad or depressed or anxious or not worthy or not good enough or any of those things. And so that's my wish, is that we can reach enough people and more people than we could imagine that will give them a good chance at making a good choice. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And it's that first step. It's that first step
So,
of getting your beliefs, your ideas, your thoughts all in alignment of a future that you want to experience, right? Like not a future that you feel like you
exactly.
have to experience because that's what reality is
Yeah.
doing. It's you are the creator of your reality. So you get to choose, and you'll make decisions, better decisions, if your energy system, if your energy body, if your electromagnetic system that exists around you
Yeah.
is in coherence
Yeah.
with the truest version of yourself that you're able to feel. And when you have all these
That's right.
emotions, these deep emotions built up about fear and doubt and shame and
Yeah.
the unknowingness that is coming, it alters, it shifts, it changes. It's
Yeah.
the Buddhist trope of cleaning the mirror, right? Like you need to clean out the systems that have been built up that are not you, so that you can experience the you that is fundamental, that exists throughout all of time and space. That connection to whatever that is inside of you, whatever story that you get to do.
Yeah.
And this is what that is doing. From my experience, in the 5 minutes that I
Yeah.
was able to do that, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
getting to see my life, my lives through this lens that, okay, I've done all the issues, all the problems, all the negative thought patterns that are inside of me have come from experiences that I have created, that I have experienced, that I have been through. And just by
Yeah.
bringing awareness to them, to the, starting point of that particular belief or negative pattern inside of me, it shifts it,
Mhm.
it changes it, it brings it back into
It will
coherence.
change.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And so, yeah. And you said it exactly, is that when these things are running you, so like when anger is triggered, right? So we talked about, just before we popped on recording, we said, hey, let's talk some about the science. So this is part of some of the science of what we do in this technique. When we call them parasitic programs, which are, some people call emotions, negative emotions. We call them parasitic programs because they hold all your stories and they have a feeling attached to them. So what we say is there's no content in content worth knowing, because the parasitic program is the feeling, right? Your memories content are put onto this, call it string, like a pearl necklace. So the emotion, let's call it betrayed. Betrayed was there. Okay. That's the string. That's the feeling. And then all of your stories, all of the content is put on to that string, little pearls. Every little pearl on that necklace is now an event in your life that you felt betrayed. So with the fixed code, what we do is, metaphorically, we pull out the string, which is the feeling. So all the pearls fall back into the timeline, because they're not attached anymore by a feeling of betrayed. Because all of those events now in your life, you no longer feel betrayed. Because when you look back at the event that you felt betrayed at, you're like, oh, I kind of feel neutral about that.
Mm.
I don't really feel that way anymore. Like it just disappears, kind of, right? The event happened to you, but you don't feel a certain way about it. So what we talk about is that it's not the event that is the problem. It's how you feel about about the event. Sorry.
Right.
Right. And you feel that way about many, many events. Right. So with the fixed code, what we do is we disconnect the feeling that's attached to all those events, or just one, because once we have one that's all attached by a necklace, yeah, it's all
Right.
there. That all the memories now that you have that you felt that way now are neutral. There's no more betrayal in them, which is, I think, pretty darn quantum. And then as you start to think about those events, which, by the way, within a matter of a day, you won't think about them again, because the only reason they were coming up was because it was triggered. So from an outside source, a trigger, you think of something or it's like a trigger, right? This thing, let's call it betrayed, wakes up and taxes the physical body. We're an energy source. We are lots of electricity, right? These things, when they wake up and they tax our physical body, they start pulling our energy. They start feeding off of our energy. Okay. They take it. Now they don't consciously are like, hey, let's piss Stacey off and let's, suck on her energy. It's not like that. They don't know. They don't have a consciousness. It's parasite. They feed off of the energy of humans. We are the perfect host for these things. Okay. We just happen to call them sad, betrayed, hurt, angry, whatever they are. But they're all parasite. They're all different parasitic programs. So betrayed has been triggered. It wakes up in the physical body. We now can feel something different. So some people feel betrayal in the back, like a stabbing back, which is betrayal, up under the ribs. There's all sorts of ways that betrayal, you can feel it. It sits in your body somewhere. So not only does this technique remove it from the physical body, so that thing is no longer sucking your energy or hurting you when it wakes up, okay? It's hurting you because it's lodged into a muscle or it's wherever it is. I don't know where it is. Your unconscious mind knows where it is. I do not. But it now has identified where it is and we pull it out, right? Also what happens is that when an emotion, when one of these parasitic programs is triggered, what happens is not only does it tax and wake up in the physical body and taxes the nervous system, it moves. This is the electrical part where it sucks your energy. It moves the memories, your memories, up into what we call the grand illusion, which is our thinking brain. And when that happens, we lose consciousness. We go unconscious, right? We are no longer in our car driving to the cottage. We are now 5 years ago going through that conversation. I'm going to say this to him. When I see that guy, I'm going to say this. Really? Like it was 5 years ago. You're never going to see that guy again. And yet you're still having this conversation or, whatever. Or you're talking to your mom, you're talking to your friend in your head. There's all these conversations going on because you're logically trying to solve a problem. You're trying to end a loop. And we can't because the design is keep us in a loop. So we solve the problem with our buddy that from 5 years ago. We solve it. We're like, okay, that's what I'm going to say. It closes up, and guess what happened? The next story opens up of betrayal, and now you're talking to that person, and then that's 2 hours. Then that closes, and then you're in it, and you're in it, and you're in it. And the only time it eventually subsides is when that thing is so full and has taken so much of your energy, it goes back to sleep. Right? Which is why by the time we get to the cottage, exhausted, I don't really feel like cooking the steaks tonight. I just want to watch a movie and order a pizza. It's like everything's backwards now. But you were exhausted because of your car ride, because of what you were going through. You were reliving all of these things. So this is where people are like, I need it to stop. And that's how I was when I met Daniel. It was like, I need this to stop. I need my brain to stop talking to me and telling me stories and me and having conversations, right? So one of the silly things we say, but is the truth. If you're having a conversation in your head with somebody, it's not you. Like you're having a conversation with a parasitic program. And guess what? You will never win this conversation. It will win every single time. It'll have you eating junk food. It'll have you driving too fast. It'll have you calling somebody and saying nasty things because it'll justify what you're doing. It will cause, these things cause chaos. I'm telling you, they cause chaos because they're telling you what to do. You're going to say this, and this is what I'm going to say. And you're going to, all of a sudden you've got all this gumption and you're driving in to the cottage and you're thinking, I'm going to say this next time I see them. You're never going to see them again. Okay. So when you're having a conversation in your head, You are talking to a parasitic program. And no, all you're doing is creating loosh, which is what other things feed on. And they're counting on it. They want us upset. They want us creating this energy called loosh, which is a whole other wormhole, which I won't go down. But it's powerful energy that only humans can create from these parasitic programs that we emanate.
Right. And
Okay?
other things.
And it's called, that energy called loosh. Okay. Yeah. So I chose 15 years ago when I learned about this to not participate in the manufacturing of loosh. I will not do it. And so anytime that I feel not awesome, I do the work. I ask Daniel to work with me and get rid of this parasitic program that is creating this energy that I have chosen to not participate in the manufacturing of. So I also will help anybody at any time stop the manufacturing of that energy, which is any kind of fear, any kind of parasitic program that's happening to them. So not only does it tax the physical body, we're now in our minds and we can't shut it up. We cannot shut this thing up. Now, what happens when we do the work, as you experienced, is as it's, now that it's gone, you actually cannot think of anything. You can think of stuff that you felt that way about, but you can't feel it. You are not creating any energy at all when you think of those memories. It's just neutral. Yay. Like, right? That is one less little notch on the production of that energy that is now no longer going to happen ever. Just from you,
Right.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we are eliminating this energy off the planet. And my goal is to eliminate it completely. But that's the goal, is to eliminate the energy feeding source, so that we humans no longer create that energy. We live in a harmony with self, and then rapport amongst each other, which is a very beautiful future, I feel like.
Yeah, that's.
And the people around me are like that.
I think that's a future that everybody could get behind and agree that that's the future that we want to get there. And I think, from a fundamental standpoint, I think that's, everybody has that belief. They're just, the vision or the pathway that they think they need to take to get to that point is different than other people. And, this is where we are on the planet. Everybody has this grand idea of this new earth that's being created, whether that's through organized religion, spirituality, quantum mechanics, whatever that is, an AI assisted new world, whatever that manifestation looks like. We're all trying to create that. We're all bringing that into existence. We just don't agree. We don't have the interconnectivity of, let's say, a telepathic society that would be able to create in harmony, in unison. And again, why are we not in that state of alignment? It's because we have all these negative beliefs. It's because we have this belief that we are not the same as somebody else for whatever reason. I'm not the same as you because my eyes are green and your eyes are brown. We're different. And it's like, no, we're not. Fundamentally, we are exactly the same. So again, I think this is a great, great, great way for people who have never had a spiritual experience, who've never had a meditation where they lost themselves in the meditation, where maybe they've never messed with any plant medicines or psychedelics. That this is what happens to your brain, from a fundamental standpoint. When you take psychedelics, you shut down the default mode network, you turn off the reticular activating system. You are no longer a human being. You are no longer this individual. You are a part of a collective. You are a part of a whole. You are a part of, the entirety of existence. And then, the work from that is integrating that realization back into getting the kids to school, making sure that lunch is ready. These kind of things that are required as a human being. And then as we continue to go through, the more human beings that do the work, that have this perspective, that do that, they are creating systems that are more in alignment with this new Earth, with this version of Earth that we want
Yeah.
to be calling in. So even if you feel like you don't have the ability to make any change whatsoever, even in your own life, reach out to Stacey, like get one of these free exploratory sessions so that you can understand what
Yeah.
people are talking about when they say, they had a deep spiritual experience, or they had a, this understanding that surpassed anything they've ever felt before. Because again, I think
Mhm.
it's so important for people to do this, and again, to
Mhm.
believe that they are capable of changing, of healing, of shifting where their consciousness is. So yeah, I think this is a
Yeah.
great program for them.
Well, and what I have learned over the years is like I can kind of swing into so many different platforms. Like I can train, yeah, I can go from transformational healing to mental health, because this this is powerful in the mental health industry, because the people that are in that mental health space that want to feel better, or they're sitting in either anxiety, which is way up here, like it's that fear. It's like they need to be grounded and swaddled kind of feeling, like their energy is up here. And depression is like heavy. They can't get up, like they can't, there's no lightness to depression. Where when we use this technique with either or in the mental health world, or any of your viewers that are feeling kind of like a little bit anxious or a little bit depressed, like even if it's not massive and they wouldn't consider themselves in the mental health crisis, they just feel that up or that low, just a little bit of a swing. This helps because there's emotions that are keeping you up here, which is fear, and then there's emotions that are keeping you low. So these are fears and these are feelings. And like fears are in the future, feelings are in the
Mhm.
past. So if we feel something, it's from the past. If we're afraid of something, it hasn't happened, but we've made up a memory. So fear uses our past memories to freak us out in the future. Okay. Not cool.
Yeah.
But in the mental health industry, this is very powerful because we move people through hurt, anger, like the swing between like almost like that manic stuff. We use this technique on that. This technique works with post-traumatic stress. Oh my gosh, this stops the stories.
Mm.
So post-traumatic stress is about the loop. They can't get out of the loop, right? They hear it, they smell it, they taste it, all of that. Where it takes a very short period of time to move somebody through post-traumatic stress with this technique, because you're literally healing the event from all sides. Like in that moment, you feel this. Okay, let's get rid of it. Like we can do that in a week, max. So we don't, and there's no talking. And in the mental health industry, the people can't talk one more time. They cannot tell their story one more time. They're exhausted, and it takes a lot of them. And a lot of the stories are quite dramatic. They don't want to keep reliving these stories. Where with what we do, as you know, I know nothing about why you felt that way. I didn't ask. I don't need to know to be able to help you with this
You couldn't
technique.
have guessed even if you wanted
I
to.
we ask. No, exactly, right. So it's and it's none of our businesses. As a practitioner, it's none of my business why you feel that way. My business is you feel that way, let's get rid of it. Like let's solve this. And yeah, like the mental health industry is really loving this. The practitioners and the therapists that are in that world are are loving this technique because they're just applying it inside their session.
Mm.
They're using it inside their sessions as almost like, the big bazooka gun. Like, let's get rid of this. And then there's the strategy session of, now that that's gone, what do you want your life to look like? Now that you don't feel that way, do you need to call that person every day? Do you need to be yelling at them every day? Do you need to be afraid of them every day? Whatever it is, are you afraid of running into them? Let's get rid of that. Like, um, you know, where's your self-confidence? Low. Let's change that. Let's get rid of embarrassed. When we remove the parasitic program called embarrassed, self-confidence goes through the
Mm.
roof immediately. So it it's very exciting because I feel like we have Daniel has created a solution for the world, and it's on all levels. This can be applied in any platform. Grade 1, library, like if the librarian knows how to do this, kids can put their hand up and say, I'm just going to go to the library, have a 5-minute session, come back to class, and feel totally different.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's my 5-year-old, he's now 22. He met the fixed code when he was 5. He started working with the fixed code at 5. His friends, I owned a gymnastics club, so like all his friends were there. All the moms were there. So Daniel worked with all the moms. I worked with all the kids. And we changed an entire generation of kids as they started to grow up and then got into middle school and playing sports. And I was doing magic. That's what the kids called it. Stacey, can you do magic with me? And the kid would just sit down and tell me what was going on, close their eyes and be like, yep, go, I'm ready. Like, okay, I'm afraid of getting hit by the ball. I'm afraid of getting struck out. I'm afraid of dropping the ball in the outfield. Like it was like kid stuff, but it was still pretty cool kid stuff, and the root cause wasn't that day that they dropped the ball, 10 minutes ago. It was way back when they were embarrassed or whatever. Fear of letting their dads down, fear of embarrassing their moms, whatever. But working with like young kids and teenagers with this, it's the basic. So I've got a 22-year-old that all of his friend group knows how to do this. They've been doing it forever since they were all 5. And what a great group of kids, like they help people all the time. Anybody in need, they help. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah, I do. I love having this in my life. I love having the fixed code as a part of me.
Yeah, and I think people can, at least I can genuinely feel this, happiness, this joy, that you met Daniel. And again, I think a lot of people don't understand this concept that there are these ideas of soul families, right? There's lineages that you've lived multiple lifetimes with. You make plans to reconnect. And depending on what level that you're at throughout your life, do you connect as kids? Do you connect as adults? Do you have a tumultuous relationship in this go around? Do you have a expansive relationship in this go around? Is it a romantic relationship? Is it a familial relationship? Again, there's all these different soul family connections that are on the planet, especially right now. All the soul families are coming here to help with this massive transition, and just how much your life can be changed by making that connection, by following your intuition, by reaching out. Again, you guys, both you and Daniel, it sounded like had prophesized this connection. You had seen each other before, and you knew that energetic connection. And that, for me, that's happened multiple times where, some people might call that a soul connection or a twin flame connection, something along those lines, where it's this direct, that you have experienced this energy, this person, this experience before. And for me, it happened a number of times where I looked somebody in the eye and it was like,
oh, cool.
Holy cow. Like, I know you from so many different experiences, so many different lifetimes before this. To follow that soul connection, to make sure that you don't just say, oh, this is, maybe it's a romantic, maybe you think it's a romantic connection, but it's really this deep spiritual connection where you're unlocking things in each other and allowing that to really take the forefront. That's such a cool and powerful lesson for, I think, people to realize and understand. And then, again, this idea that healing and trauma and working through this has to be this long, drawn out experience. It doesn't. Do you ever face people saying that this is spiritual bypassing or anything like that? Do you, what do you kind of say to people when they come at you from that angle?
No, because I think people would ask me that, or have asked me that before they tried it, but then the moment they tried, they're like, no, this isn't spiritual bypassing at all. I did it all. I just did it really, it just was like, it's like the world was on dial-up. I don't know if your audience, what age your audience is, but like dial-up was like, like we had to wait, a long time to get any kind of connection, where to me, the fixed code is Bluetooth. It's instant. It's like, and it's just like, hey, angry, you talk into your phone, angry, and then both close your eyes and it's done. it's like it's like Bluetooth to just to yourself. Like it's a connection that when you're experiencing this technique, it's you. Like you're not going outside of you. It's you. Like you didn't go outside of you. You did the work. Your unconscious mind did the work. I didn't do anything. I guided it, but I was not attached to where you were going, how you were doing it. Like I've not asked any questions, none of my business. So it's a very private experience. And many of your listeners are like, I'm not really spiritual or, or whatever, or I'm not looking for a spiritual, or they're going to try this. They're going to click the button. They're going to try this. And they're like, yeah, that wasn't a really spiritual experience at all. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be, because it it just happened to be for me, because I was destined to be in that spot in that moment with a guy that I thought wasn't real. Like for me, it was a life-changing moment where not everybody's going to have that, which I totally understand. A lot of people have the complimentary session and go like, okay, like they get angry, done, or hurt, or not worthy, or whatever. And their life just kind of gets better. And because these things are not us, we forget we ever felt that way. Okay. And so you forget you ever met me. You forget you ever had an extraction, because it's like remembering when you took out a splinter of your finger out of your finger.
Right.
Like, really? Why are you going to remember taking a splinter out of your finger? Because it didn't belong in there anyways. It was causing you some serious problems and has your whole life. But all of a sudden you clicked on a button, you had this 15-minute session, they took out the splinter, and now you're getting on with your life. Like, without the splinter, without all the pain, without all the, like, everything hurts. Like, you can't do the dishes because it hurts. You can't drive your car because it hurts. Like, you're driving like this, like now you're just driving normally. You forget that you ever felt that way because it wasn't you to begin with. These parasitic programs are not us at all. They're causing the problems. So we take out the splinter, call it, it's causing all the problems, and you beautifully get on with your life. We're not here for the credit. We're never going to get it, which is totally fine. But so people, we know we help them. We know it works, and we honor that they've moved on and they're feeling great. When they remember us is when the next thing comes up and they realize they don't want to feel like that anymore. And then they're like, I wonder if it's going to work again. And they do it again. And then it's gone. And they're like, okay, all right. This might be working. Okay. And then they move on. And so we find that everybody does it differently. Everybody feels about it differently. Some people wake up like I did and went like, oh, like that was awesome. And which I know a lot of people like that. And they're usually the ones that take the course. They're usually the ones that are like, I want to learn how to do this. I have to have this. This has to be in my family. I can think of 10 people that want it, that I'm going to, introduce this to. And then I'm like, save them for your volunteers. How would you get certified? Save them. Like, learn this first. And then, so everybody's going to have their own experience, which is part of being human. So I don't want to ever lock it in and say, this is a spiritual experience. It was for me, has been for many people, but it definitely doesn't have to be. If we help you with one problem, the biggest problem you have in your life right now, when you think about it, how does it make you feel? If you can't feel that anymore, then we've done our jobs.
Right.
And then it's up to the person to say, wow, like, I like that. Or no, not for me. Or I think I'm going to see how this works, So like, I'm going to give it some time. I don't really believe it right now, but I'm going to give it some time. So there's no, there's no gauged outcome outside of, I know by doing this for 15 years with thousands and thousands and thousands of people that it works. It's just a lot of people just forget and move on because they don't feel that way anymore.
Right.
Which is great.
Yeah. Well, everybody's healing. I mean, that's the whole purpose, right? We're trying to get to a point where we have a whole healed collective. So
wouldn't that be wonderful? And I believe you will.
So I always ask this question. This will be kind of the last one as we kind of wrap things up. Imagine we've got 8 billion people. They all go through the fixed code. They do the work. They get there. What does humanity start to look like? What do you see in the future for, maybe 5 years out or something like that? What are you starting to see? What is your perspective on that?
I'm seeing people being able to communicate calmly because they're not being triggered. I see people being able to parent and be the mom and dad that they want to be without feeling overwhelmed, without being that frantic spin, running out of time all day long, like just that crazy. I feel like because, for example, the feeling overwhelmed, the feeling running out of time, and the feeling that you can't think, those are three big things in a family, mostly, right? That's one extraction. That's called anger. So when we do the work with anger, which we can totally do in our 15-minute complimentary session, you will no longer feel overwhelmed. You will no longer feel like you're running out of time, and you will no longer be able to not think. So that one extraction will change a household immediately, right? So I see calmness. I see clarity. I see people being able to, that have time. I always say I'm time wealthy. I'm so time wealthy. I can make a day, I can make an hour go like 5 hours. I can expand time. I can speed up time. I can do all sorts of things because I'm present. There's nothing in my field that is creating static. So when I see humanity, like you said, in 5 years or even like a year from now, I see tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people being more centered, being more, having the, with what they want, with calmness, not frantically trying to hit a goal or the target. This is like having more time, having more peace, having more like space in their mind to think their kid, to be able to like really strategize where you want this conversation to be going, because you're not being triggered by the moment. You're able to stay very still. And I find that the future's emotional state going forward is going to be emotional stillness. If there's going to be like this, I'm saying calm, but it's more like an emotional stillness that we get to choose in our moment what we want versus reacting. We get to create versus like cleaning up the shit. Like the goal isn't anymore, I want a clean room. The goal now is, what colors would I like it? What do I want to feel like when I come into this room versus just getting it cleaned up? I feel like it's different. I feel like part of the fixed code is part of the cleanup. We're able to use the fixed code to clean our shit up so that we eventually, very quickly, have a clean space to create from.
Yeah. And I think that's,
but yeah, like,
I think that's a beautiful vision. I think that's a lot of where, a lot of spiritual practices try to get you to, right? It's, your thoughts are not emotional anymore. You notice the thoughts, you are seeing the thoughts, but you're not creating emotion around those thoughts. And you're just seeing them for what they are, which are just things that are happening in your time frame, in your essence, in your
that's right,
in your experience of life.
Yeah. And when you're not feeling it anymore because you don't feel angry anymore because you had it removed, or you don't feel betrayed, or you don't feel sad, you don't feel those things anymore because they're not there. This isn't like white knuckling it anymore. And this is what I love about the technique. There's no more white knuckling. Just do the work. Do it. It takes 5 minutes. So I love that. It doesn't mean that there's not more stuff comes at you all the time. Like you're moving through life. So things are coming at you and you're doing things and you're experiencing more. So new things are coming up. So what? You do the work again. Like you just keep moving as you would be doing in your spiritual journey. You just keep going. You move through the block. This just happens to be something that is quantum speed.
Right. It's fast. It's quick. It's no nonsense. You just get in, get out.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're not bypassing anything. You are doing the work. Like you really are doing the work. You're just doing it at a quantum level and a quantum speed. And the beginners don't have to know any of that. They just go through the experience and they're like, okay, that was cool.
Follow the prompts.
I cannot tell you how many 70-year-old and up clients I had. They love this. They love it. They don't know anything about spirituality. They don't care. You know, they're doing their thing, but they absolutely love this because they're feeling fabulous. Yeah. Like that kind of thing. Yeah. Kids love it. Yeah. Everybody loves it.
Everybody loves it. Excellent. Well, Stacey, this has been enlightening.
I think so.
This has been wonderful. I really appreciate you sharing the information, sharing the experience with me. For anybody who is looking to connect with you, to get one of the free sessions, to maybe learn a little bit more about bringing this into their own practice, where is the best place to send them?
Yeah. Thefixcode.com. And right when you open it up, there's like a little phone it's a little whirly thingy. Just opt in. I guess they're called opt-ins. You opt in and then you go into a questionnaire, which is the magic question, which is what I asked you. And you just kind of fill out that form. It takes not even a minute. And then it'll say book here. You submit the questionnaire. It'll say book here. Hop over, pick a practitioner. It's complimentary. You can ask them any question. And if there's anything about the training or anything like that you want to know, please ask them. They're all ready to go. They're all ready to send you a link. Or you can just pop back to the website and go to the certification page and you just purchase the training and learn it at your own pace. It's an online training, but it's backed with, you get a personal coach to move you through, like a certified fixed code practitioner that was trained by me and certified by Daniel, that's there for your whole journey. And if that journey is 2 years, it's 2 years. If that journey is 8 weeks because you're a gutter and you want to get it done, whatever your choice of how you choose to move through this training is all up to you. There's no expectations on our side at all. Every single person is going to do it their way, their journey, and I'm thrilled about that. And you also get your certified practitioner will also work with you for you. They are there for your personal journey, healing journey, and also to walk you through the online training, but that they're there for you to heal your craft so that you can become a way better practitioner. You can be much more clear. And then as you start to learn how to use this, you can now see it in others because you just went through it, right? Like this is an experience of healing, learning, and then practicing. It's all an experience. But it's all there. Like it's nonstop, and the community is incredible. Like I've never been more blessed with such amazing people in my life. Our community is incredible. They're very, very supportive and welcoming to every single person that comes in. You know?
Beautiful. Well, as I said, I really appreciate you coming on, sharing your gifts, sharing this this experience with us. And I wish you all the best. And I look forward to seeing where the fixed code goes here in the next couple of years.
Thank you so much for letting me talk. I love it.
Thank you again for listening to Changing the Channel with Joe Garner. If you enjoyed the show, please follow the podcast, hit the bell to know when a new show comes out, share with a friend, and rate us on whatever platform you're tuning in from. It helps get these messages out to more people to create the collective shift in reality we are here to experience. Make sure you interact with the Q&A and poll sections of the show so I can continue to provide content you enjoy. Finally, check out my website in the show notes to become a VIP of Changing the Channel and join the shift that is happening.